I never imagined that one conversation could alter the course of everything we'd built. We had been together for nearly 10 years, married for 6, and I'd always believed that love meant patience, compromise, and shared dreams. But one evening, as we sat across from each other at our small dining table, she spoke words that shattered every belief I'd held close. "I need independence," she said, her voice steady, her eyes calm yet distant, like she practiced this moment countless times before. I stared at her for what felt like forever, trying to understand the weight behind those words, hoping to find even a flicker of hesitation. But there was none. She wasn't angry or emotional. She was certain. Her decision was made. For a brief moment, I wanted to fight for us, to plead, to remind her of every memory, every promise, every quiet victory we had shared. But then, something in me grew still. We had argued before about space and freedom, but the tone in her voice told me this time was different. I realized that trying to hold on would only destroy what remained. It wouldn't save our love, it would poison it, turning affection into bitterness. So I stood up slowly, deliberately, and left the room. Not out of anger, not out of pride, but out of respect for her choice and for what we once had. She watched me go, maybe expecting confusion or desperation, but she saw neither. The silence between us was heavy yet clear. In that quiet, I understood something important. Sometimes love means stepping aside, even when it hurts, even when your heart still wants to fight. I didn't walk away because I stopped loving her. I walked away because I loved her enough to let her go with grace. The days that followed felt strange in their stillness. I returned to my routines, not to distract myself, but to remind myself that life would go on, with or without her beside me. Our home, once filled with quiet laughter and the rhythm of shared mornings, became a museum of memories. As I moved through each room, I noticed things I had once overlooked. The way her favorite mug sat slightly crooked in the cabinet, the faint trace of her perfume in the hallway, the unfinished stack of books by her bedside. None of it made me angry. None of it invited confrontation. I simply observed, like a visitor in a space that no longer belonged to me. From time to time, messages would appear from her, a few words here and there. "I didn't mean for it to be like this," or "I just needed to understand myself." I'd read them, quietly acknowledge them, and leave them unanswered. I didn't need explanations or apologies. What mattered wasn't the reasoning. It was the choice itself. She had chosen independence. I had chosen peace. There was strength in that, subtle but powerful, a dignity in letting go without bitterness, in walking away without turning love into resentment. I felt a quiet power then, not the power of control, but of self-respect. The power of knowing that holding on to someone who no longer wants to stay only weakens what you have to give. Each morning, as I poured my coffee and walked to the waking city, I reminded myself, letting her go was not a loss. It was an affirmation of my own worth. Weeks turned to months, and the clarity of that evening never faded. She found her independence. I found my calm. Sometimes our paths would cross, through mutual friends, on city streets, in the hum of a cafe. But I no longer felt that ache of unfinished conversations or unsaid words. The pain that once threatened to consume me had softened into understanding. I realized that love isn't possession, and attachment isn't always loyalty. I thought of our years together. The laughter, the small triumphs, the comfort of companionship. Those moments remained mine, untouched by her decision. I didn't dwell on what could have been, or wonder where she was now. My life moved forward, steady, deliberate, and whole. Independence, I discovered, is a gift not just for the one who seeks it, but also for the one who grants it without resentment. I rebuilt my space, rekindled passions I'd left behind, reconnected with old friends, and found peace in the quiet moments that once felt unbearably empty. Each day reaffirmed the same truth. Letting go isn't failure. It doesn't erase love, it honors it. Sometimes, walking away is the purest way to respect both yourself and the person you once loved. And so, I move forward with dignity, calm, and a quiet knowing that real love sometimes means releasing, not clinging. In that release, I found something I had forgotten long ago, a sense of self, unburdened and alive, ready to face whatever comes next, without fear, regret, or compromise.